जय श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग गंधर्विका गिरिधारी जी की जय। जय श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग श्री राधा मदन मोहन पंचतत्त्वात्मक श्री गौरहुरी की जय। जय श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग श्री राधा नयननाथ जी की जय। जय श्री गौर नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथ देव की जय। जय नित्यलीला परिष्टोम विष्णुपाद परमहंसास्ततर सचिशिला भक्ति वल्लभ तीर्थ गोसाई महाराज की जय। जय नित्यलीला परिष्टोम विष्णुपाद परमहंसास्ततर सचिशिला भक्ति दैत माधव गोसाई महाराज की जय। जय नित्यलीला परिष्टोम विष्णुपाद परमहंसास्ततर सचिशिला भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। जय परमहंसा शिला गौर किशोर दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। जय शिशिला सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। जय वैष्णव सार्वभौम शिला जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। जय श्री रूपानुग गुरुवर की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपी गोवर्धन वृंदावन श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंदात्मक श्री ब्रजमंदिर की जय। जय श्री नवदीप धाम की जय। जय श्री पुरुषोत्तम धाम की जय। जय श्री बालदेव सुभद्रा जगन्नाथ श्री सुदर्शन चक्र जीव की जय। जय श्री वृंदा देवी तुलसी देवी की जय। जय सर्वविघ्न विनाशनकारी श्री नृसिंह देव की जय। जय अनंतपति वैष्णव वृंद की जय। जय समागत भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि वंदे हम श्री गुरु श्री जुता पादकमला श्री गुरु वैष्णवांश्च श्री रूपं सग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम Ramo Ramo Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare, Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. We are hearing SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. We heard Bharat Maharaj left his home, wife, children, went to forest to do uninterrupted bhajan. But then, by providence, he got attached to deer and he lost all his spiritual practice and became like a mad. He was all the time thinking about the deer. Then the time of his death came and the deer was there beside him and he was seeing the deer and thinking of deer. Then he became deer. Yesterday we heard at the time of death the king saw that the deer was sitting by his side exactly like his own son and was lamenting his death. Actually, the mind of the king was absorbed in the body of the deer, and consequently, like those bereft of Krishna consciousness, he left the world, the deer, and his material body, and acquired the body of a deer. Everything will have to leave behind. Nothing we can take with us. Even this body, everything. But here, however, there was one advantage. Although he lost his human body and received the body of a deer, he did not forget the incidents of his past life. There is one, I forgot what is that term. Now Sannyasi Maharaj was telling in Vienna, or maybe Bodhayan Maharaj, I forgot. Some people, they have this ability to remember their past life's incidents. Those who are very advanced devotees like Bharat Maharaj, they can, by the grace of Krishna, to help them in their bhajan. But some can remember also. One term is there, I forgot. Janma something. And there are some techniques, spiritual techniques, by which you can observe some events of your past life, like re-experiencing them, because everything is recorded. And many examples are like this. They like as a therapy. They saw some event in their past life and they saw why that unresolved thing, what is causing them some problem now in this life, why they are afraid of something or disturbed like this. But when they resolved that in past life, then also in this life that problem was resolved. So that there is past life, there is proved by so many sciences. Of course, here in Shastra it is written, and you can get that consciousness that you can remember. Tatrapi hava atmano mrigatva karanam bhagavat aradana sami hanu bhave nanu smritya brisham anutapyamana aham. Some examples are there on YouTube also, and I think Bodhaya Maharaj or someone was saying that some people, they can remember where they were living in past life, and they can remember the like position of furniture or so many details they can remember, and they can tell, and when they check they see it is really true. So some have that ability. But generally we forget because of the will of Krishna. Krishna says in Gita, I am the cause of forgetfulness and remembrance. So generally we forget because that is necessary. What we were in past life and what we did, that is by nature, it is system is like that, you have to forget. But still it is recorded because of aprarabdha karma, which fruits you will have to get. Although in the body of a deer, Bharat Maharaj, due to his rigid devotional service in his past life, could understand the cause of his birth in that body. Considering his past and present life, he constantly repented his activities, speaking in the following way. Aho kashtam brashtoham atmavatam anupatat yad vimukta samasta sangasya vivikta punyaranya sharanasyatmavata atmani sarvesham atmanam bhagavati vasudevatat anushravana manana sankirtan arada nanu smaranabhi yogena shunya sakala yamena kalena samaveshitam samahitam kartsnena manastatu punar mama buddhasyaran mriga sutam anupari susrava. This is prose Sanskrit. In the body of a deer, Bharat Maharaj began to lament. What misfortune! I have fallen from the path of the self-realized. I gave up my real sons, wife, and home to advance in spiritual life, and I took shelter in a solitary holy place in the forest. I became self-controlled and self-realized, and I engaged constantly in devotional service, hearing, thinking, chanting, worshipping, and remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. I was successful in my attempt, so much so that my mind was always absorbed in devotional service. However, due to my personal foolishness, my mind again became attached, this time to a deer. Now I have obtained the body of a deer and have fallen far from my devotional practices. Until you reach Vastu Siddhi, there is danger of fall down. Vastu Siddhi means when you realized yourself, and then when you give up this material body in full consciousness of your real self, then you will take birth in Krishna Lila, in some universe, and advance in your relationship with Krishna. Then you can go Golok Vrindavan. But if you did not achieve this, then if you are unmindful, or if you commit some offense, even on the stage of bhava, there is a chance for this to happen. This is his example. So that is why Uttamadhikari Guru can never fall down. But Madhyamadhikari Guru, he is very advanced in devotion, but there is only one chance. He will not fall down due to anarthas. But if he becomes proud and if he commits offense to some other Vaishnava preacher, like competition or undue criticism or something, then he may also fall down. So our Bhaktivinoda Thakur said very carefully you should go through all the stages and should be very careful about bad association, because in bad association desire for name and fame will come, and because of name and fame you can commit offense and that will cause you to fall down. So we have to be very careful. Iti evam nigura nirvedo visrijya mrigim mataram punar bhagavat kshetram upashama shila munigana daitam shalagramam pulastya pulahashramam kalanjarat pratya jagama. Although Bharat Maharaj received the body of a deer, by constant repentance he became completely detached from all material things. He did not disclose these things to anyone, but he left his mother deer in a place known as Kalanjara mountain, where he was born. He again went to the forest of Shalagram, that Pulaha ashram, and to the ashram of Pulastya and Pulaha. Here in the commentary, Srila Bhaktivinoda Swami is saying, it is significant that Maharaj Bharat, by the grace of Vasudeva, remembered his past life. He did not waste a moment. He returned to Pulaha ashram in the village known as Shalagram. Association is very meaningful. Therefore, ISKCON tries to perfect one who enters the society. The members of this society should always remember that the society is not like a free hotel. All the members should be very careful to execute their spiritual duties so that whoever comes will automatically become a devotee and will be able to return back to Godhead in this very life. No one should be captivated by his birthplace and family. One should take shelter of the association of devotees and cultivate Krishna consciousness. This was also, as I told before, one reason the Acharyas explained, because he was alone in forest. If there would be sadhu sangha, then sadhus, they can detect that we are trying to deviate. So they will discipline us, control us with affection, with sympathy, then that will help us. So especially in Kali Yuga, it is very important to have association of devotees. If not, association of Shastra, but always you have to be reminded of the goal of life, service of Krishna. Tasmin api kalam pratik shamana sanga chabrisham udvigna atma sahachara shushka parna trina viruddha vartamano mrigatva nimita vasanam eva ganayan mriga shariram tirtodaka klinam utsa sarja. Remaining in that ashram, the great king Bharat Maharaj was now very careful not to fall victim to bad association. Now, by his experience, he understood. So we have to learn from his example. Actually, as I told, Sanatana Goswami wrote, he was pure, but he showed by his own example for us that we have to be careful, not to be attached to like these worldly relations and worldly love, all these things. then that will degrade us. Without disclosing his past to anyone, he remained in that ashram and ate dry leaves only. He was not exactly alone, for he had the association of the Supersoul. If you have, then that is okay. Nirj Prabhupada told Kirtan Prabhave Smaran Hoive. Say Kale Nirjan Bhajan Samab. When you do Kirtan and your heart is pure, that Smaran is automatic. Means you are always with Krishna and his associate, then you can do in a lonely place, but not before that. In this way, he waited for death in the body of a deer. Bathing in that holy place, he finally gave up that body. In some commentaries, it is written, or I heard also, that he was eating the remnants of the sadhus there. And he also was hearing Kirtan and Harikatha. They were staying in ashram, so as a deer, he was staying near. And he got that opportunity. Then he left the body in that deer. Bathing in that holy place, he finally gave up that body. The next chapter, chapter 9, the supreme character of Jauro Bharat. Shri Shuka Uvach. Atha Kashyachit Dvija Varasyangirach Pravarasya Shama Dama Tapach Svadhyaya Dhyayana Tyaga Santosha Titiksha Prashraya Vidya Na Suyatma Jnanananda Yuktasyatma Sadrisha Shruta Shilachara Rupaudarya Guna Nava Sodarya Angaja Babur Mithunam Cha Yaviyasyam Bharyayam Yastu Tatra Pumam Stam Parama Bhagavatam Rajarshi Pravaram Bharatam Utsrishta Mriga Shariram Charama Sharirena Vipratam Gatam Ahuhu. Srila Shukadev Goswami continued, my dear king, after giving up the body of a deer, Bharat Maharaj took birth in a very pure Brahmana family. There was a Brahmana who belonged to the dynasty of Angira, Angira Rishi. You can remember, this Rishi came to Chitraketu Maharaj and wanted to give him transcendental knowledge. But Chitraketu Maharaj only wanted son. So Angira Rishi understood. Then he told him, okay, I bless you to have son, but he will give you distress and happiness, both. Then you know the story, what happened. That is same Angira Rishi. So this Brahmana, his father of Jauro Bharat, he was fully qualified with Brahminical qualifications. He could control his mind and senses, and he had studied the Vedic literatures and other subsidiary literatures. He was expert in giving charity, and he was always satisfied, tolerant, very gentle, learned, and non-envious. He was self-realized and engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. He remained always in a trance. He had 9 equally qualified sons by his first wife, and by his second wife he begot twins, a brother and a sister, of which the male child was said to be the topmost devotee and foremost of saintly kings, Bharat Maharaj. This then is the story of the birth he took after giving up the body of a deer. So he had 2 wives, 9 sons from first wife, and by second wife twins, 1 brother and sister. And this male was Bharat Maharaj. There you will find in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. This is Vedic scripture coming from Supreme Lord. For Brahmins, what kind of ritual they have to do and how they should unite with wife and with that ritual, that if they want satsang, what they have to do. If they want a daughter, this they have to do. If they want this, so many different types of sons. Everything is clearly mentioned there. Tatrapi svajana sangacha brisham udvijamano bhagavatah karma banda vidvam sana shravana smarana guna vivarana charanaravinda yugalam manasa vidadhat atmana pratighatam ashankamano bhagavat anugrahe nanu smrita swapurva janma valir atmanam utmata jaranda badira swarupena darshayam asalokasya. Due to his being especially gifted with the Lord's mercy, Bharat Maharaj could remember the incidents of his past life, in this life also. Although he received the body of a Brahmana, he was still very much afraid of his relatives and friends who were not devotees. He was always very cautious of such association because he feared that he would again fall down. Consequently, he manifested himself before the public eye as a madman, dull, blind, and deaf, so that others would not try to talk to him. In this way, he saved himself from bad association. Within, he was always thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord and chanting the Lord's glories, which save one from the bondage of fruitive action. In this way, he saved himself from the onslaught of non-devotee associates. Like our Gurudev, when Srila Bhakti Buddhaya Maharaj became Acharya, being appointed by Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, then he became Acharya, and then so many were against him and fighting and giving trouble and so many things. Then Buddhaya Maharaj thought, what is the use of this? They are all fighting for this position, so I will give up this position, then fighting will stop. Then he wanted to resign, and then when our Gurudev heard, then he called him in a room, and with very serious mood he said, you close your eyes, you close your ears, and you close your mouth, and always wait for the mercy, means you pray for the mercy of Supreme Lord. Means you should not mind what others are speaking or you involve. No, you have to do your duty. Your Gurudev gave you this duty, so you have to do it. If you will not do it, then everything will be ruined. So you have to do, and you don't bother about others. Close your eyes, close your ears, close your mouth, and always wait. So here also we see he was like a mad. He acted like a mad and blind and deaf. He cannot hear anything. So others will not disturb him. And always he can think within his heart about Supreme Lord and chant his glories which save one from bondage of fruitive action. That is Diksha. Dibya Jnanam Dadati Kshapayati Patakam, something. Diksha means that process by which divine knowledge is given, by which you can destroy all these sinful, fruitive activities and reactions. Divine knowledge means you are eternal servant of Krishna. And because of aversion to him, you are bound. By devoting yourself to him, you can be liberated, and in the lila. And only when you are thus properly engaged, that will remove all your unwholesome activities, means diseased activities, for selfish enjoyment. And another also is that Diksha means that divine knowledge to the realization that Krishna's name and Krishna, they are non-different. And when you will realize Krishna, his Swarup, then also your Swarup in relation to Krishna, automatically you will realize. In this way, he saved himself from the onslaught of non-devotee association. There also Rupa Goswami told, Dadati pratigrihnati guhyam akyati prichati bhunkte bhujayate chayam saravida priti lakshana. You should exchange with devotees, not with non-devotees, like speaking and hearing, giving food, accepting food, and gifts, what is required with devotees, not with non-devotees. Then you will be attached there and you will be diverted from your bhajan. So he was very careful about this now. Now he understood. This we have to learn, how important this association is. Tasyapi hava atmajasya vipraha putra snehanubadha mana asamavartanat samskaran yatopadesham vidadhana upanitasya cha punah show cha achamanadin karma niyaman anabhipretanapi samashikshaya anushistena hi bhavyam pituh putreneti. The Brahmana father's mind was always filled with affection for his son, Jorobharat. Therefore, he was always attached to Jorobharat. Because Jorobharat was unfit to enter the Grihastha ashram, he simply executed the purificatory process up to the end of Brahmacharya ashram. All those samskaras. Although Jorobharat, but not for Grihastha ashram, that is marriage samskara, because he was unfit. There it is written in Chaitanya Shikshamrita and Bhaktivinoda Thakur that if some person is disabled, then he cannot be in Grihastha ashram or other ashramas. Then others have to take care of him, but he cannot do those things. So, although Jorobharat was unwilling to accept his father's instructions, the Brahmana nonetheless instructed him in how to keep clean and how to wash, thinking that the son should be taught by the father. Father should teach the son. So Brahmanas, they have to maintain purity, internal purity and external purity also. You will see Brahmanas, they are washing hands many times, and mouth, and keeping clean asana and cloth and everything. That is necessary. For devotees also, because engaged for the service of Krishna. So it is father's duty to teach the son. Joro Bharat was not interested. Why? It was not necessary for him. Already he was pure devotee and already he was in Smaran, always thinking of Krishna. He does not need to practice anything. Already he got the fruit of all sadhana, constant remembrance of Krishna. So this was unnecessary for him. Like for those who are Aga devotees, they have attachment to Krishna. By spontaneous natural devotion they are serving. For them there is no need to instruct them and give rules, do's and don'ts. No need. They surpassed that. They are beyond, like Banshidas Babaji Maharaj. There is no need of rules and regulations for him. Sa chapi tat uha pitri sanido eva sa drichinam eva sma karoti chandam si adya payishyan saha vyahritibih sa pranava shira stripadim savitrim graishma vasantikan masan adiyanam api asamaveta rupam grahayam asa. Joro Bharat behaved before his father like a fool, despite his father's adequately instructing him in Vedic knowledge. He behaved like Vedas, four Vedas, Samhitas, how to do yagya, and Brahmanas and Taranikas and Upanishads, everything he was teaching him. That is Vedic knowledge. So, but Joro Bharat, he behaved in that way so that his father would know that he was unfit for instruction and would abandon the attempt to instruct him further. He would behave in a completely opposite way. Although instructed to wash his hands after evacuating, he would wash them before. Not after, but before. Nonetheless, his father wanted to give him Vedic instructions during the spring and summer. He tried to teach him the Gayatri mantra along with Omkara, that is Pranava here written, and Vyahriti, but after 4 months his father still was not successful in instructing him. This is Savitri, that is Brahma Gayatri, he wanted to teach him. But Bharat Maharaj already he was chanting Brahma Gayatri 2 lives back and got perfection already in worshipping Supreme Lord. So now it was not necessary for him to practice. So father was unsuccessful. He was very sad, but what to do? But his son was not ordinary son. That is the point. Evam sva tanuja atmani anuraga veshita chita shaucha dhyayana vrata niyama guru anala shushru shanadi opa kurvanaka karmani ana biyuktani api samanushistena bhavyam iti asat agrahah putram anushasya swayam tavat anadigata manorataha kalena pramatena swayam griha eva pramata upasamhritaha. The Brahmana father of Joro Bharat considered his son his heart and soul, and therefore he was very much attached to him. He thought it wise to educate his son properly, and being absorbed in this unsuccessful endeavor, he tried to teach his son the rules and regulations of brahmacharya, including the execution of the Vedic vows, vratas, cleanliness, study of the Vedas, the regulative methods, service to the spiritual master, and the method of offering a fire sacrifice. These are all Brahminical duties. He tried his best to teach his son in this way, but all his endeavors failed. In his heart he hoped that his son would be a learned scholar, but all his attempts were unsuccessful. But already he was topmost scholar. He understood the point of all Vedas, that is devotion to Krishna, and he was fully devoted to Krishna. Some say he is not a scholar. No, one who is a devotee, he is like there in Chaitanya Bhagavat, I think it is, or maybe there in Chaitanya Charitamrita somewhere, Rupa and Sanatan, that Vallabhacharya then said, Mahaprabhu said, don't touch them. They are like low caste. They became degraded. Then Vallabhata, by the grace of Mahaprabhu, said, no. They are chanting the name of Krishna. If they are chanting the name of Krishna, that according to Shastra means they are doing all Vedic sacrifices, study, visiting holy places. At every step they are already doing everything. And I think in relation to Haridas Thakur also someone said, maybe Advaita Acharya. So Mahaprabhu also showed this. He said, my guru thought that I am fool. So he said, you cannot study Vedanta, but you chant Harinam. Then I was chanting Harinam, I got this prem, so what I can do? Then I went to Guru and said, Guru, I became mad. Then Guru said, no, this is the purpose. This is the ultimate goal of life, and you got it. It's very good. Now you go on chanting, and you instruct others also for chanting. So that is the greatest scholarship. One who is fully devoted to Harinam, and like Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, fully devoted to chanting Harinam, and not only that, spreading Harinam all over the world on the prediction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he is the greatest scholar. Not that he is not scholar. I heard someone said he is not a good scholar. No, I said you are a fool. He is the greatest scholar. He knows all Shastra. He is himself chanting pure name, and whole world he inspired to chant Harinam. He is the greatest scholar. So here father, he tried to make his son scholar, but failed. But the point was that his son was already the greatest scholar. Our Prabhupada also told that my Gurudev Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, outside people they think he is illiterate, he does not have any scriptural knowledge, he is not scholarly. But I say that in dust particle of his lotus feet there is absolute knowledge. I realize this because he gave me that dust on my head willingly. I realized. So by the one particle of dust of his lotus feet on my head, I have a knockout punch for every philosophy in this world. All false philosophy, I have a knockout punch. I can debate anyone, I can refute anyone. This is all foolishness. So what is the knowledge? What is scholarship? It is pure devotion to Krishna. And one who has such pure devotion, he does not have any desire other than service of Krishna. Sai Maharaj, he had so much opulence, so much followers, but never abused or misused anything. because pure devotion. So that is wrong to say like that. He was not a scholar. That is totally wrong. Fully wrong. The great scholar. Like everyone, this Brahmana was attached to his home, and he had forgotten that someday he would die. That, however, was not forgetful. We may forget that, but that will not forget us. At the proper time, death appeared and took him away. This Brahmin father. Here in the commentary, those too attached to family life who forget that death comes in the future to take them away become attached and unable to finish their duty as human beings. The duty of human life is to solve all the problems of life, but instead people remain attached to family affairs and duties. Although they forget that, death will not forget them. Suddenly they will be kicked off the platform of a peaceful family life. But even this you cannot get. Peaceful family, always quarrel, and always problem, sickness, this, that, and always there is disturbance. There is no peaceful family life. Only if you are pure devotee and others are engaged in the service of Krishna, then possible. Otherwise, never possible. All the time disturbance. But the point is, what is the duty of human life? Not to amass so much money, so much children, wife, wealth, position, name and fame, these things. No. It is to realize yourself. That is the human duty of human life. And this we have to achieve before we die. Before you die, you have to realize who you are, that you are eternal servant of Krishna. Then your human life is successful, otherwise not. So this father, he wanted to teach the son the process of brahmacharya, but he was unsuccessful due to his son's unwillingness to undergo the process of Vedic advancement. Jaura Bharat was simply concerned with returning home back to Godhead by executing devotional service through Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. He did not care for the Vedic instructions of his father, that gradual procedure. He was already having spontaneous devotion to Krishna, and he only was out of his love for Krishna, he was doing Shravan and Kirtan and Smaran. For him there is no need this Vedic. Even Madhavendra Puri, or maybe Prabodhananda Saraswati, I cannot remember, or both maybe. There is one verse, they say, please forgive me, my 3 times Sandhya Vandana, my this wake up early in the morning, all these rules and regulations, please forgive me, but I cannot serve you anymore, because I am directly engaged in remembering the Supreme Lord and serving in Lila, so you please forgive me. Means for him that is not necessary. Already he is established in that. For what we have to do all these practices? Already purpose he achieved. So there is no, like a mother will teach child how to walk. But someone who is walking already, there is no need for those teachings and that encouragement. Already he is walking. Yes, when one is fully interested in the service of the Lord, he does not need to follow all the regulative principles enunciated in the Vedas. Of course, for an ordinary man, the Vedic principles are imperative, means you must follow. No one can avoid them. But when one has attained the perfection of devotional service, it is not very important to follow the Vedic principles. Atha yavi yasi dvija sati sagarba jatam mitunam sapatnya upanyasya swayam anu samstaya pati lokam agat. Thereafter, the Brahmana's younger wife, after entrusting her twin children, the boy and the girl, to the elder wife, departed for Patiloka, voluntarily dying with her husband. That is, in the funeral fire of husband, she will also enter that fire willingly, and she will not suffer, because willingly she is doing, and she is doing for the service. And in her soul, she will join her husband in next life. But she gave responsibility of her children to her co-wife. That. Like that, we have to do Vaidhi Bhakti. Rules and regulations for Vaidhi Bhakti. Under the guidance of Guru and Shastra, we have to do. As long as your heart is not fully pure, then you will get independence from these rules. And then you can enter into Raga Marg. Then that sadhana you will do, you will get also guidance for that, but then there is no need for such encouragement of Vaidhi. Vidhi Marga Ratto Jone Svadhinata Ratnadane Raga Marge Korano Pravesh. Those who are doing Vidhi Marga, path of rules and regulations for the service of Krishna, not Smarta Brahmanism or Varnashram, no, but for the service of Krishna. And then when your heart is pure, then you will get independence from these rules and you will enter into Raga Marg. Pitari uparate bratara enam atat prabhava vidastrayam vidyayam eva paryavasita matayo napara vidyayam joro matiriti bratur anushasana nirbandhan nyavrit santa. After the father died, the 9 step-brothers of Joro Bharat, who considered Joro Bharat dull and brainless, abandoned the father's attempt to give Joro Bharat a complete education. The step-brothers of Joro Bharat were learned in the 3 Vedas, the Rig Veda, Sama Veda and Yajur Veda, which very much encourage fruitive activity. The 9 brothers were not at all spiritually enlightened in devotional service to the Lord. Consequently, they could not understand the highly exalted position of Joro Bharat. Sa cha prakriter dvipada pashubir unmata Joro badira muketi abhibhasyamano yada tat anurupan ni prabhashate karmani cha karyamanah parichaya karoti vistito vetanato va yachnaya yadrichaya vopasaditam alpam bahum rishtam kadanam vabhyavaharati param nendriya priti nimitam nitya nivrita nimita sva sida vishudanu bhavananda svatma labdadhi gamaha sukha dukhayor dvanda Nimitayur asambhavita deha bhimanaha shitoshna vata varsheshu vrisha ivana vritangaha pinah samhananangah standila samveshananun mardana majana rajasa mahamanir ivana bivyakta brahma varchasa kupatavrita katir upavite noru mashina dvijatir iti brahma bandur iti samgyayatach gya janavamato vichachara. Very long prose. Degraded men are actually no better than animals. The only difference is that animals have 4 legs and such men have only 2. These 2-legged animalistic men used to call Joro Bharat mad, dull, deaf and dumb. They mistreated him, and Joro Bharat behaved for them like a madman who was deaf, blind and dull. He did not protest or try to convince them that he was not so. If others wanted him to do something, he acted according to their desires. Whatever food he would acquire by begging or by wages, and whatever came of its own accord, be it small quantity, palatable, stale, or tasteless, he would accept and eat. He never ate anything for sense gratification, because he was already liberated from the bodily conception, which induces one to accept palatable or unpalatable food. At least on Ekadashi we have to be very careful not to try to enjoy on Ekadashi prasad or these so many things. Ekadashi is meant for fasting, austerity, not any kind of enjoyment. So he was already liberated. But when we misidentify with the body, then we want to eat nice food. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu already told, Jihvar lalase jai iti uti dhaye shishno dar parayan Krishna nahi paye. One who is always going here and there to satisfy his tongue and his subordinate to his belly and genitals, he can never attain Krishna. So this we have to be careful, especially on Ekadashi day. We have to be careful. All enjoyments, all sinful activities, all this we have to give up and increase our bhajan. We should not try to make Ekadashi feasts. Nowadays this is going on. But Sannyasi Maharaj also in Vienna he told, this is not proper. So this we have to be careful. Because he was out of body, so he was not interested. What was there to eat, he ate, only to keep life. He was full in the transcendental consciousness of devotional service, and therefore he was unaffected by the dualities arising from the bodily conception. Actually, his body was as strong as a bull's, and his limbs were very muscular. He didn't care for winter or summer, wind or rain, and he never covered his body at any time. He lay on the ground and never smeared oil on his body or took a bath. Because his body was dirty, his spiritual effulgence and knowledge were covered, just as the splendor of a valuable gem is covered by dirt. He only wore a dirty loincloth and his sacred thread, which was blackish. Understanding that he was born in a Brahmana family, people would call him a Brahma Bandhu and other names, like those who are fallen Brahmanas. Being thus insulted and neglected by materialistic people, he wandered here and there, because already he was situated in his Swarupam. He did not care about these external things, like Bhangshidas Babaji. But we cannot imitate this. We have to follow rules and regulations of devotion for our stage to reach that platform. Tomorrow we will further hear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ji ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Shri Radha Madan Mohan Panchatatatmak Shri Gaura Huri ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Shri Radha Nayananath Ji ki Jai. Jai Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Jai Shri Jagannath Dev ki Jai. Jai Patit Pavan Shila Gurudev ki Jai. Jai Shila Parang Gurudev ki Jai. Jai Shila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanuga Guruvare ki Jai. Jai Shri Pancha Tattva Prabhu ki Jai. Jai Shri Brinda Devi Tulsi Devi ki Jai. Jai Sarva Vigna Vinashanakari Shri Nrishingadev ki Jai. Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda ki Jai. Jai Shri SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM ki Jai. Jai Samagata Bhakta Brinda ki Jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Gaur Pramanande Hari Bol. Thank you all. Dandavat Pranam. Hari Bol.